This is Ryan Elliott for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. I'm back in a more familiar environment today, back up in the northeast. With me, the Benwell bomber, Joe Laws. Joe, thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us, mate.
Charles, mate, thank you.
Now, you've got yourself a fight. Let's start there. I think just under 3 weeks now, you're fighting in Sunderland. Hopefully you're not going to be wearing those specs to the ring. But talk to me about that. You've been preparing back over there. Talk to me about the fight.
Yeah, I'm fighting 2 weeks Sunday. I'm fighting a tough opponent. My training's been going great. I've got some more sparring tomorrow. I'm on weight to an extent, and I'm just ready to go now. I'm ready to go.
Now, I just want to take it back, mate, because I think this is the first time we've spoken to you on camera. I know you did a great interview with a good friend of mine, Craig Scott. The written stuff, I want to go back to where the wider audience sort of got to know you a bit more, which was that October card at the Metro Radio Arena, topped by Lewis Ritson. And the question that immediately comes to mind, and did for a lot of people, was, how does a kid from Benwell sell hundreds of tickets for a 4-rounder on a show like that? I just wanted to ask you a bit about that journey. How have you accumulated such a fan base just 5 fights in?
I just want to say me fans and me support is second to none. They're called the Bomb Squad. Every fight every fight I've had in the amateurs, they've always been the loudest there. They make the mark, and without my support, I wouldn't get the chances what I've had so far in my career, you know what I mean? So I just want to give them a massive thank you. And to be honest, I don't know why I'm so well liked in the boxing world, but it could be my glasses, it could be the way I fight. I don't know, but I'm just loving the journey.
Now, as I mentioned, 5 fights in. That night in Newcastle, obviously Lewis Ritson didn't get the result, but I think the feeling was this is the start of something for North East Boxing. We had Lewis Ritson top on the bill. We've got Josh Kelly over in Sunderland. We saw yourself, the early days in your career, selling so many tickets. As I mentioned, you know, this is a bit of a phenomenon, what we see with you in the North East, how many tickets you sell so early in your career. How much more comfortable does it make you developing and getting ready to step up the levels, knowing you've got that back in? You know, you're going to have people coming to watch you no matter what, and you don't have to worry about, you know, trying to sell tickets. So many fighters have problems with that, but with you, there always seems to be, you know, your squadron there with you the whole way.
Yeah, well, I'm only 5 fights deep in my career, but out of those 5 fights, I've boxed on Sky, won them. I've boxed on Free Sports, won them. Boxed on a live YouTube link on the MTK show, The Eagles. So my 5 fights, I've had 3 big fights, know what I mean? Had a good pedigree amateur, so I think them fights are just setting us up for more bigger fights in the future. And like you're saying, North East Boxing at the minute is absolutely booming. We've got Lewis Ritson fighting again on his comeback fight. We've got the likes of Josh Kelly, etc. And there's loads of local talent around this area. I think in the next few years, the North East is going to take over the boxing circuit. We've got an amazing town. We've got the stadiums. We've got the arenas. So let's fill them out, know what I mean? Let's fill them out.
Let's go back to where it all started from you, from what I've read and seen. When you were younger, you weren't an exceptional athlete in any other sport, I'm sure you won't mind me saying, whether football or rugby, etc. How did boxing come about? How old were you? I know there's a history of boxing in your family, but what was it that made you want to get in there, and how old were you as well?
I was hopeless at all sports, and I'm even hopeless at boxing now. But no, me granddad boxed, me brother boxed, me dad boxed. Boxing was just in the family, you know what I mean? And I remember going to watch me brother's first fight, and he fought a kid called Alex Hughes, and they were both at the same year in the same school. So them two punched holes at each other for 3 rounds, and after watching that fight, I was like, yeah, I want to box. And since then, after that fight, I walked in Granger Park, had my first 12 fights there. I won my first title. Then from Granger Park, I moved to Burtley Boxing Club, and I stayed there ever since. And from Burtley, I turned professional with me head coach, Green Rutherford. Had my first 3 fights there. And since I've moved to Wallsend, and I'm training on Nick Geddes now, it wasn't a boxing academy. So that's the little inside of my life.
Now, I read also about you that you're someone that wherever you travel, you like to try and get a spar, you like to try and have a fight. whether you're on holiday or what, you don't like to switch off too much. How important is it in your mind to, wherever you go, to learn and to want to test yourself against other people?
It is. Me dad used to take us on holiday when I was young, and anywhere I went, he took me to the gym. He used to find the roughest gym and he used to make a spar. Like, not make a spar, like, I actually wanted a spar, but he was like, if I can walk in some hostile environment, walk in there, like, when my trainers come in, have a spar, like, that one day will set us up where if I'm under the pressure on these big shows and on these big occasions, I don't crumble, know what I mean? I've been all over. I've been Las Vegas, Mexico, you name it, and every holiday I go on, I take my gum shield, I walk in the gym and have a spar, and I've sparred some decent lads. Me and Jordan Reynolds went to Las Vegas for a training camp, and I sparred Devin Haney and 2 unbeaten pros in Mayweather's gym, so that was quality, like.
Now, it's something that I'm sure a lot of young fighters should be doing, but do you feel you're a significantly better fighter for those experiences, for throwing yourself in at the deep end no matter where you go and sort of pushing beyond your comfort zone as well, rather than just doing your sparring at your local gym and not really doing much else?
I've probably lost a few brain cells doing that, but no, I think it is because you can train, you can do bags, but there's something about a gym spar. Well, I say gym spar, it's never ever been a gym spar, has it really? A gym spar's a fight, know what I mean? So you can spar in your own gym, in your own comforts, against your own sparring partners who you've sparred for years, and you know what them going to throw before them even throw it, know what I mean? So you kind of switch off, whereas if you go to a different gym against a person who's standing there, bounce something down, looking in the eyes, you're like, yeah, this is the most you're going to get to a fight than actually fight, you know what I mean? So I think gym spars and like little gym inter-club sort of thing are essential, like.
Now I have to ask, I heard you mention it there, you said you sparred with Devin Haney. Mm-hmm. I want to know, and I'm sure everyone watching will want to know, how that went down. What happened when you and Devin Haney had a little spar out there in Vegas?
Well, meant to do 6 rounds, and he got out after 4. God, he's a bitch. But meant to do 6, and after 4 he jumped out. The first 3, I couldn't hit him with the bag of rice. He was slick. I was hitting his shoulders. I was hitting his legs. I was hitting everything apart from his face. But in the 4th round, I landed a big left hook. Didn't like it. Wobbled him, and I just jumped on him. And after the 4th, Mayweather started pulling him out. So, tell me, you know what I mean? It's a rule in spawn, an unwritten rule. What happens in spawn stays in spawn, unless it's went viral like that did. And also, yeah, if I'm spawning someone, like if I'm spawning you, we decide how many rounds we're going to do beforehand. Because if you say to me, we're doing 3 rounds, I would go hell for leather for 3 rounds. Whereas if you say we're doing 8, for the first 4, I would take my time. So in my mind, I was thinking the first 2, just ease in, next 2 up the pace, and the last 2 go for it. So, that happened.
Now, I'm sure you caught the boxing on the weekend. Someone you've been very vocal about wanting to share a ring with, Conor Benn. We saw him headline the JD Next Gen show at your call Friday night. He fought for a former European title challenger, Jussi Koivula. Did he catch a fight? I
did, and up until he knocked him out, I was saying to my dad, he's going to beat ya. But fair play with him, he can bang, know what I mean? Personally, I don't think he's very good boxing-wise, but the kid can bang, and if you throw when he throws, that's the danger of boxing. He can't knock you out, know what I mean? And as a fighter, I respect him for where he's came from. His dad's a legend, know what I mean? He's on his own journey, and he's doing good. He's 15-0, but if I compare him to skill-wise, I think I'd beat Conor Benn 11 times out of 10. And I'm only 5 fights in my career now. I've done 5 4-rounders. I'm moving on to 6s, so I'm not going to sit here and say I'll beat him tomorrow. That's just daft. But next year, I'll smash his head in.
Now, I think when Conor Benn turned over, none of us had really seen anything of him. There was the reputation there with his dad. We were all wondering, is this kid going to be a chip off the old block? What's he going to be like? Then we got to see him. I think the first few months the feeling was he's very raw. He hasn't had much amateur experience. He can be perhaps a bit more reckless. He's in his fight with Joseph Saradnik a couple of months ago, he looked a lot more measured. He looked like he'd been working on a few things. We obviously saw him in a fight on the weekend, but from what you've seen of him, have you seen enough to think, yeah, he's improved significantly in the last year or so?
No, well, he's young. How old is he? 22 or 21? Yeah, well, yeah, he's young, so he's still learning the game. And like I say, his dad's a legend. He's on his own journey, and so far, you can't fault him because we all can't be like Mayweather. I'm not like I haven't got that finesse about us, but I'm just going on how good I think I can be in watching him in his previous fights, and I think I'd smash him. Simple as that. It'd be a cracking fight. It would definitely fill out an arena. So 2020, let's get it on.
Now, one fight that has been touted for next year, I spoke to Eddie Hearn about it last week, is Conor Benn versus Josh Kelly. Similar to what you did with Conor. Conor, a couple of months ago, was sort of starting to throw around Josh Kelly's name, saying he'd be really interested in that fight. I think when it was first discussed, the general feeling was just sort of, yeah, right, Josh Kelly's moving on to bigger and better things. He's going to be fast-tracked to the top. But after we saw Conor Benn blow away Jussi Koivula in that firefight, as I mentioned, and after we saw Josh Kelly get that split draw of Ray Robinson over in America, the fight seemed a lot more realistic all of a sudden. It would appear we might see that in the next 12 months. How would you see that fight unfolding, should it take place?
I think Josh Kelly just punched his head, and to be honest, I think against the Ray Robinson fight, I think people just expected Josh Kelly to blow him away, whereas that Robinson has fought at the top level, and he has been fast-tracked, Kelly has, but he's an amazing talent. Like I say, he's from the northeast, and I think he beats Conor Benn up quite easy. I think the first 8 rounds he'll win convincingly, and obviously when it starts getting to rounds 7, 8, 9, 10, etc., that's where it would favour Conor Benn. But there's levels in boxing, and I just think Josh Kelly's amateur experience, his experience down at Adam Booth, he's Sparring, I think he's just a different level of fighter. But then again, Conor Benn can bang. In boxing, it takes one shot, like we've seen on the weekend. So if you do get complacent with him, he can knock you out. And I've wore them small gloves, and it takes now to knock you out. Know what I mean? But that's the excitement of boxing. People don't want to spend money to go and watch a fight of tap tap tap. Every time I go in the ring, I lay me heart on my sleeve, me balls on the line, and I give it everything. And I think that's what people like. Know what I mean? And so to get back to the original question, I think Josh Kelly wins by unanimous decision. And I think he might even drop him early on, but Conor Benn's game, so he'll get up. But I think he'll hack on through for the decision points win. Kelly, boom boom, yeah.
Well, let's go back to you, Joe. As we mentioned, you're quite early in your career. The better days are to come. The big fights are still to come. What I wanted to know, and I'm sure a lot of people want to know, is what is the ambition for you? Every fight has something in the head when they turn over, whether it's to fight and headline in the States, or as Lewis Ritson once told us, to headline at St James's Park here in the Northeast. Some people are more motivated by money. What is it that you have in your mind as the end goal? What is it you want to achieve?
When I retire from boxing, I want to be able to walk down Benwell, right? And for people to drive past us, sing "There's only one Joe Lowe's, Benwell Bomber, blast country roads." You know what I mean? I'm always going to be the people's champ. I'm never going to move out of Benwell. I'm never going to move out of Newcastle. This is where I got brought up. This is where I'm from. You know what I mean? And I want to fill out St James's. Obviously, the Las Vegases, the etc. That is the dream. But filling out St James's is that's the dream. You know what I mean? I'm 5 fights in. I've done the arena, and that, just thinking about it now, gives us goosebumps. And Aye, St James's, I want to fill it out. Obviously, every British boxer wants the British title, but I think with a bit of luck, hard work, determination, I can reach the top, know what I mean? And I'm not going to stop until I give it a good old go, I tell you.
Now, just finally, you've got a fight penciled in. You mentioned you'd love to fight Conor Benn. Not now, perhaps next year. Yeah. How far in your mind are you away from getting in that domestic mix? Have you thought about this? Like, what time frame could you give as to when you want to start jumping into these domestic level fights?
I've got hairy balls, not crystal balls, but guess I think. No, like I say, I'm not daft. I see loads of too many young prospects having a few fights, and the next thing you know, they're doing a 12-rounder and they're getting stopped in the 7th. I've done 5 4-rounders. I'm on the 6s now. Let's get a few 6s, then let's get a few 8s, a few tough opponents, tougher spawn opponents, know what I mean? And just keep up in levels. But I think sometime in 2020, I'll be ready for titles, know what I mean? Whether that's Northern Area, English, whatever. But I'm just taking one fight at a time, and my next fight's 2 weeks Sunday at the Stadium of Light. It's going to be a cracking show, and after that, we'll go from there. But hopefully 3 more fights this year takes us to 9-0. Then once you start reaching them double figures, that's when them bigger fights will come, know what I mean?
Right, Joe Laws, I think we'll leave it there, unless there's anything you'd like to add.
I just want to say a massive thank you to all my sponsors who sponsors. If it wasn't for them, I'd be out working, know what I mean? And I just want to say just a massive thank you, and I really, really appreciate it. All my support, me bomb squad, people who send us messages on my social media, etc. Just, I want to thank everybody, because the end of the day, the end result you see when I fight, people don't see the 12 weeks behind that where you're training, all the help, and I really appreciate it. I'm just a local lad trying to make it, and give us a follow on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and let's be part of the journey. Bomb Squad!
Right, Joe Laws, thank you very much for speaking to Boxing Social.
Cheers, mate.